A man finds a suit of armor with a talking eye in its center. His blood awakens an ancient being slumbering within. In moments of peril, the armor leaves his body and transforms into a two-sword-wielding monster. This creature's strikes are blindingly fast. Its path leaves nothing alive, not even a blade of grass. Each swing of its sword spells death. Within moments, hundreds lie slain. In the end, the armor helps the man kill the god of this world. How did the man come to possess this powerful armor? In a magical land, Guan finds himself inside a strange cave hearing his daughter Tangerine call for him. The glowing image of a godlike figure appears at the back of the cave, but before Guan can make sense of it, he wakes up. In reality, Guan waits patiently on a hilltop while thinking about his daughter, who vanished 6 years ago. His obsession with finding her, rather than accepting her loss, ruined his marriage. Just then, a truck appears on the road, and Guan starts hurling rocks at it with amazing speed and impossible precision, somehow making the rocks curve in flight. Once the truck crashes, Guan attacks the driver, demanding to know where his daughter is, but the driver's friend knocks Guan down and runs away with him. When he gets to his feet, Guan checks the back of the truck and finds it full of children, confirming these men were the traffickers he suspected. Sadly, Tangerine isn't there. Soon the police arrive and arrest Guan, assuming he's the kidnapper. Guan falls asleep in the back of the police car on the way back to the city and dreams of Tangerine again, this time seeing her captured by sinister tentacles. When he wakes up, he notices the cop has stolen his picture of Tangerine, causing Guan to attack the officer, get it back, and escape in the chaos. As he runs away, he finds a different car waiting for him driven by Ling, who knows every detail about his life, even his strange dreams. Unnerved, Guan wants to leave, but Ling convinces him to listen when she tells him she can help find Tangerine. Meanwhile, in the magical land from Guan's dreams, Kong runs from a group of bounty hunters led by an old man. Cornered on a cliff, Kong's sister arrives to help, pushing him into the water below to save him while she fights the hunters. Instead of fleeing as his sister asked, Kong climbs back up and finds her badly hurt. She tells him to run before the old man arrives and kills her. The old man is injured too, so Kong takes his sister's spear, and ignoring the man's warnings that no one can escape Lord Redmane, kills the hunter to avenge his sister. Kong is tired of running and decides to go back to the city to kill Lord Redmane, a god who has been sending killers after innocent people. A strange voice in Kong's head finds this plan very funny. When he turns around, the old man's black armor is alive and wants to join him, leaving its dead host and attaching itself to Kong like a parasite that burrows into his veins. Back on Earth, Ling takes Guan to her company's building and shows him pictures of 5 girls who might be Tangerine. It's been so long that Guan can't recognize his daughter, so Ling offers a deal. They'll use the company's DNA tech to find Tangerine if Guan agrees to kill a writer named Kong for Li Mu, the company's owner. They know about Guan's power to control objects in flight and want him to use it to kill Kong. His book, posted online in chapters, has a boy named Kong fighting an evil lord called Redmane, and every time this character gets hurt, Li Mu gets hurt too. They've tried to get Kong to stop writing, but he refuses, and they can't sue since no court will buy the story. Guan struggles to believe it, but he has to accept it, since it's his only shot at finding his daughter. Using the company's resources, Guan takes a boat to Kong's town while listening to his audiobook. He's shocked to realize his dreams have been showing him the story all along. Once there, Guan starts tailing the writer Kong, waiting for the right time to strike. Guan ends up in a library, and since it's empty, he can't hide anymore. Kong approaches him, having already noticed he was being followed. Luckily, Guan thinks fast and pretends to be a fan, which excites Kong and makes him ask lots of questions. Hearing about Guan's boat trip helps Kong with his writer's block, and he immediately updates the story, making fictional Kong sail the seas and dodge monsters to reach Redmane's city. While Kong writes, Guan gets a call from Ling forbidding him from talking to Kong. She knows thanks to surveillance, but Guan ignores her and follows Kong out of the library. On the street, a car almost hits them. When the driver asks if they need the police, Guan panics and flees. In his hurry, he drops his hotel key and dream journal. Kong picks them up and reads the journal, getting a burst of inspiration. Meanwhile, in the story, Kong arrives at the city at night, where there's a huge festival around a statue of Redmane. Every citizen worships the deity. When the statue raises an arm to point at a nearby town, everyone grabs their weapons and chants Redmane in preparation for a deadly battle. Kong is horrified to see everyone so eager to fight for no reason. Black Armor explains that Redmane feeds on suffering, and he's destroyed all the other cities by manipulating his followers. The neighboring town defends itself with skilled archers who kill many citizens, but they're pushed back when Redmane's followers use hot air balloon dragons to create a sea of fire. Kong can only watch in disgust at the pointless death, followed by looting and murder of the survivors once the brutal battle is over. As the sun rises, a battle horn sounds. Everyone bows as a group of red-armored knights, marked as Redmane's disciples, appear and impose a curfew, making everyone flee in fear. Back to the real world, Kong wakes in a hotel to find Ling scolding him for yesterday's behavior. She confirms she arranged the car incident. As punishment, Ling beats him and holds him underwater while Li Mu watches via camera as a reminder to stick to the plan. At that moment, the writer Kong arrives at the hotel and gives Guan his notebook back, thanking him for the vivid dream descriptions which helped him break through his writer's block. Pretending to be a tourist interested in sightseeing, Guan asks Kong to show him around the city to get him alone. They end up in an abandoned field where Kong shares his love for writing and says he's been at it for 6 years, which oddly matches the time Tangerine has been missing. Suddenly, Kong hears a distant lullaby and it gives him a burst of inspiration, so he takes Guan's notebook and starts writing again. In the story, Kong finds a little girl who looks just like Tangerine trying to save a friend, but sadly, the boy is already dead. Kong helps her bury her friend and learns that the Red Knights will kill anyone out of their homes after sunset. Then, this version of Tangerine starts playing the flute, playing the same lullaby writer Kong heard, and the song alerts a nearby Red Knight to their location. The Red Knight chases Kong and Tangerine through the city, smashing through walls and leaping across rooftops, making it impossible to escape. Needing a plan, Kong swaps the girl for a dummy to give Tangerine a chance to escape while he distracts the knight. Cornered, the Red Knight falls for the trick and grabs the dummy, giving Kong a chance to hit him and break the helmet, shockingly revealing Guan's face. Furious, the Red Knight prepares to kill Kong, but Tangerine returns and shouts for him to stop. The knight turns his attention toward Tangerine, but at that moment, the sun sets and he loses control, allowing Kong and Tangerine to escape. While Kong writes all this, Guan approaches him from behind. Having visions of chasing Kong and Tangerine in the story, he throws a projectile to knock Kong out. He moves in to finish the job, singing the lullaby he made for Tangerine as a baby, which also matches the one Kong heard. But before he can strike, Guan hears someone else singing the lullaby impossible, since it's a family song. Following the sound, Guan finds the boy who was singing, but his desperate pleas scare the boy away. Guan chases after him, seeing more visions of Kong and Tangerine from the Red Knight's perspective, but the boy escapes, and Guan ends up in a bar. To his surprise, Tangerine's kidnapper is there. The man rallies his friends to beat up Guan as revenge for the truck incident. Using his throwing powers with pool balls, Guan easily beats them all and shakes the kidnapper until he confesses. Tangerine was an early job. He overdosed her with a sedative by mistake. Tangerine never woke up, and the kidnapper left her body in the hills. Crushed by grief, Guan tries to kill the kidnapper, but Ling arrives with guards and knocks him out. Moments later, Guan wakes up in Ling's car. She tries to comfort him awkwardly, only doing it because Li Mu told her they need Guan. Ling claims the kidnapper must be lying and insists Tangerine is one of the girls from the photos. She assures Guan they're taking the kidnapper to the police. Guan asks her not to, wanting the kidnapper as a twisted reward. He'll kill Kong, and in return, they'll give him the kidnapper to kill too. After Guan leaves to plot, Li Mu arrives to scold Ling for not being more convincing. When Ling asks, Li Mu admits he lied about the photos and scolds her again for feeling bad about tricking Guan. Meanwhile in the story, Kong and Tangerine have escaped and now wander through a city filled with ruins and suffering. Tangerine distracts Kong by telling him the story of Redmane and the other god he betrayed and killed while pretending to be friends. They reach Tangerine's home, only to find her parents dead for breaking curfew. While Tangerine grabs a painting by her mother, they discuss where to go next, but are interrupted by a group of Redmane followers wanting to loot the house. Tangerine refuses to give up her parents' things and plans to fight, so Kong steps forward to protect her, which intrigues Black Armor. Back on Earth, Guan calls Kong in the morning. They agree to meet on a rooftop, Kong unaware Guan was his attacker. After saying he feels a new will to live, Kong tells Guan he's written about him, his daughter, and the lullaby into the story, hence the matching head wound. While Ling eavesdrops, Guan reads the latest chapter and realizes the events match his visions perfectly, meaning Kong might have created a parallel world through his writing. It seems his power affects the real world too, which explains why Li Mu wants him dead. The chapter ends with Kong and Tangerine, surrounded by an angry mob. Guan helps Kong brainstorm a way out, making Kong so excited, He almost falls off the roof, but Guan catches him just in time. In the book, Black Armor leaves Kong to become a separate entity and fights the attackers, killing them easily since normal weapons can't hurt it. Then it turns on Tangerine, but Kong stops it just in time. Surprisingly, Black Armor can't hurt Kong when it tries because Kong controls its movements. Realizing this, he forces Black Armor to stab itself to subdue it. This means Kong's blood, which Armor drank, must have celestial origins. Black Armor swears never to disobey again as it returns to its normal form. Meanwhile, Guan calls Ling to quit before tossing the phone away. Guan refuses to kill Kong, wanting to protect the Tangerine in the story. For her to be safe, the book needs to end. Unaware Ling is spying on them, Guan takes Kong home so he can write in peace. On the desk, Guan spots a picture of Li Mu with another man. Kong explains his father was Li Mu's business partner and died in a suspicious accident that Li Mu witnessed. Guan suspects Li Mu's plan is more sinister than it seems and tells Kong to pack up so they can hide somewhere safe. Ling also concludes Li Mu killed Kong's dad and that the whole plot is to cover up the story, so she calls Li Mu to demand the truth. Unfortunately, Li Mu admits nothing and threatens Ling for betraying him. When Ling returns to her car, she's knocked out by Li Mu's henchman using an electric shock. They then drive to the library, where Kong is writing while Guan plans their defense. The story progresses with Kong and Tangerine reaching Redmane's temple, where they find many Red Knights sitting still. When Kong knocks them over, none move. He finally realizes the secret. They can only move during the day, and the curfew was just an excuse to keep people from finding them vulnerable. Just then, Li Mu's henchmen arrive at the library and attack Guan. A fight breaks out among the bookcases, Guan using his projectile powers against the attackers, but they recover quickly. The assassin with the electric shock box throws water on the floor to electrocute Guan from afar, trapping him in a corner. When the henchman gets close, ready to kill Guan, it turns out this was Guan's plan all along. Thanks to insulation on his hands, he redirects the electrical attack, sending the attacker flying. Next, Guan targets the second attacker, who's taken a serum granting superhuman strength and allowing him to dodge Guan's projectiles. Luckily, Ling wakes up and escapes in time to enter the library and stop the henchman from killing Guan by stabbing him. Her attacks aren't very effective, but the distraction gives Guan time to regroup. He throws a trick shot with 2 balls. The attacker dodges the first, but is knocked out by the second. While all this happens, Kong advances the story a lot. Tangerine and fictional Kong enter the temple, where a huge statue moves to reveal Lord Redmane, with half his face hidden by a mask. After showing off his incredible strength, Redmane sniffs Kong and confirms Black Armor's theory. He's the son of the deity friend he killed, meaning Redmane is based on Li Mu, and the story parallels the murder of Kong's father. Enraged, Redmane challenges Kong to avenge his dad and takes him outside to the tree where the murder happened. Redmane attacks, and Kong unleashes Black Armor so it can be its own entity, allowing them to fight together as a team. Their attacks are perfectly coordinated, but they barely hurt Redmane, who knocks them away easily with his incredible strength and speed. When Redmane grabs Kong and starts squeezing, Black Armor recovers and saves its master by cutting off Redmane's hand. Redmane grows even angrier and uses his other hand to crush Black Armor into dust. He gloats by pressing a single giant finger against Kong about to crush him, but stops when he hears something strange, a lullaby. It's Tangerine, playing the song on her flute. Her father taught her he'll always come if he hears her tune. Annoyed by both the girl and the song, Redmane releases his tentacles and grabs Tangerine, about to swallow her, matching Guan's earlier vision. The story comes to a screeching halt when Kong gets stuck on how to continue. To make matters worse, a third henchman sneaks in and attacks Kong, badly injuring him. Before he can land a final blow, Ling knocks him out while Guan calls for an ambulance, feeling responsible. At the hospital, Guan and Ling wait for news on Kong when Li Mu arrives. He's pleased with how things turned out, believing Kong won't make it. Li Mu explains his original plan was for Kong and Guan to die together, framed as a murder-suicide. The police would have the novel linking Guan to Tangerine, making it seem like Guan was the kidnapper who killed Kong in revenge. That's why Guan had to be the killer. Li Mu offers them each 5 million to leave and keep quiet. When Ling threatens to go to the police, Li Mu laughs he has bribes in place, and she has no proof. Plus, Ling and Kong would be implicated too. Li Mu also wants Kong's computer. When Guan refuses, he tries to take it by force, but Ling pushes him back, saying Guan will finish the book. Tangerine is still singing inside Redmane's belly. True to his promise, the song summons a Red Knight with a Gatling gun, ready to save his daughter. The gun actually gives the Red Knight a fighting chance, hurting Redmayne. A fierce battle begins. One of the knights' attacks destroys Redmayne's mask, revealing a wound with a sword stuck on his forehead. Kong guesses that's his weakness. While Redmayne is distracted, Kong jumps towards the god and yanks the sword down Redmayne's body, splitting him in two and finally killing him. In agony, Redmayne's stomach opens and releases Tangerine, caught by the Red Knight just in time. Back on Earth, Ling finishes reading what Guan wrote after telling Li Mu she's called the cops. A nurse tells them Kong is doing better, but Guan isn't listening. He's seen something out the window and rushes out. Outside, the boy who sang the lullaby is hanging out with a young girl. Guan begins singing the lullaby to test a theory. The girl turns around, she's the real Tangerine. In the story, Tangerine, the character removes the Red Knight's helmet to reveal her father Guan, and they hug tightly with tears in their eyes.